So we are Gardner. We've got Paul Lambert, L.A. Walker, and Samantha Sparkman. And we are presenting the Naked Classroom. So the core message, we kind of had to, you and I discussed it, and we kind of had to extract it out of you since you didn't have a clearly defined core message on our initial meeting. So what we came up with together was teaching teachers how to make a real connection with their students. That was something we wanted to tie in with your business name because it was something you had established already and you weren't interested in making a change in that. And so we needed to kind of give that purpose. Nudity and education is kind of a fine line that you walk. So trying to give that purpose was really important to the branding. So we did that with the logo. Right here we've got the peeling apple, which is the apple becoming naked. And it's kind of hard to see with the lighting in here, but exposing the student-teacher connection is, exposing the student-teacher connection is our tagline. So it kind of explains the name while still giving you the core message in the logo.
Okay. We're going to take a look at what you're facing in the marketplace with your new venture here. In the market for freelance teaching consultants is very crowded. According to the small business website, manta.com. They deal just basically small business folks. Under their heading of educational consultants, there are 13,554 education consultants in the United States that they have alone. And this is not talking about any of the larger concerns. These are just small businesses just like you. Okay? And it's very competitive. According to the Education Digest for Education Statistics of 2010, there are 13,809 school districts in the United States. So you're looking at a difference of maybe 200 plus or minus a handful. So that's going to be a very competitive thing. And again, we're just talking about the small ones. So that's quite a nut to crack there. Something to consider. And one thing about the field itself is it's very diverse as far as what they specialize in. Some are higher education, some are elementary education, some are special ed, some are getting students individually to get them into college, things of that nature. Your specific thing, there was no breakout for exactly to fit you into that, but it's all over the place. And there is no certification. Actually, I take that back, there is one certification for educational consultants now. It's an online program at UC Irvine. But other than that, anybody can hang out a shingle. Okay. Now, one of the problems in the market is the fact that teaching consultants, you're just getting a rehash of the same old thing. They're giving people the same things that they've been giving since the middle of the last century. And it's a rehash, and it's the same thing, and people are tired of it. It's not giving them the performance increase that they want, so they're looking away, perhaps in the fact that they just don't want to spend the money on outside people. And plus the fact that the budgets are just shrinking annually. So outside consulting is not a real priority on budgets. So you're going to have to be concerned with that type of thing. There's not as big a piece of the pie. So there's some good things here though. In order to get your name out, you can get out and attend a lot of conferences, which I think that's what you have in mind. With your business background, I know you've been involved in a lot of conferences. And in that situation, so all of the teaching associations and things like that, get involved with as many of those as you possibly can that you can comfortably cover, because at this point it's just you. But go out, make yourself known, get into the professional organizations. And one thing about this, and this is something that I've found, is that these organizations always need speakers. They're always looking for somebody to speak at their local gatherings, at their regional gatherings, and at their large gatherings. And if you can put out there and say, hey, I can do this. I can give you a program on what I do, and I can give you a quick overview of it, and we'll see what happens. Let me do that for you, and we'll see how it works. I can almost guarantee you that if you've got any talent at all, which I have seen you on your video, you're going to do great at it, and they're going to want you back, and they're going to tell the other chapters. And this is the big thing, in my opinion, of what you have going that a lot of people don't, is the fact that with your business background and the notoriety that you've picked up from the Rate My Professor, that you can use that to promote yourself in a way that will put you outside of the box and ahead of the crowd. And another thing that you really, I feel, need to get involved in is new media, like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, maybe make a blog, and maybe make up an e-newsletter. Because when you're out there making all of these contacts, you're picking up business cards, you're picking up emails, you're creating that email list. So, quick e-newsletter, just to put it out, just to stay in touch, just to keep your face, your name in the front of their minds. Now I'm going to pass it on over to LA. She's going to go with the objectives.
Get it, girl.
You know, I watched your videos too, and one of the things that I enjoyed so much was you're very demonstrative. Your program is very demonstrative. So what does that mean? We all know that, but we need to build awareness, build a clientele, and the long-term goal being to consider the premier resource for educational consultation. I don't know much about this particular objective. I was dealing with these, but
This
you want
is
me to
just
proceed?
an objective as a group,
Okay.
for the entire, his entire program's objectives.
Okay. Your objective is to take your program and put it in the hands of deans and professors and educators so that they'll understand how they can take the classroom and be a winner in the classroom. Your program does not just recite and rehearse what the problems are, but it actually trains and teaches people how to use the 7 C's so that they can take their classroom and win students over and carefully engage them. Increased inquiries, increased web traffic, increased bookings, and increased revenue. So all of the things that we're using with the logo, the letterhead, the business cards, and the envelopes, along with the website, is to accomplish these things. Objectives for the identity package: brand awareness, contact information, and to reinforce credibility. These are sneaky little workhorses that, when you're not paying any attention at all, are sending out the message that, number one, you're different. You're not the same as everything else that's out there. You have a message to be sent, and you're engaging the audience that you're sending it to.
the name of the classroom is a teacher consulting business. You plan on offering one-on-one case consulting or seminars, like you're going to do big speed, big groups, teachers associations, that sort of thing, where you can do a big seminar. You have a custom designed teaching model instead of just going by the same thing that everybody else is going by. You're going to the educators can use this to help build a connection with their students, so that way students don't feel, teachers know what they're doing and then the students will know what they're doing, and that way it'll be less tense if, unless, like, say a teacher doesn't know what they're doing and then the student doesn't know what they're doing because the teacher doesn't know what they're doing. And what I got right there, lessens stress in the classroom. All right, the product features are what I reviewed before, the group seminars, if you're going to do big association meetings, that kind of thing. Case analysis, see what the problem is and tell them how you can help fix it or help, strive towards fixing it. Or one-on-one consulting, which I believe would be the afterwards of it. All right. It was better on my screen, but you might not be able to read it. It got a less stressful environment for both teacher and the students. If the teachers know what they're doing, then the students will be able to understand and know what they need to do. Students will become more attentive because the teachers will know what they're doing, so the students will understand as well, and they'll be able to understand it more, so it'll come across better to both parties. All right, when attendance records will improve because the students will like the class more if they understand more what's going on and they don't feel like, oh, I don't get this, why even waste my time? And the test scores and grades will improve also if they're attending more classes.
All right. So target audience, you know who you're trying to talk to. You want to talk to school district administrators, superintendents, teachers, deans, anybody involved with education that can get you in the facility to teach them your methods. What we know about them. As you know from personal experience, teachers are stretched very thinly with time, money, and emotionally. It's a draining profession really quick. Classes are overcrowded and underfunded, and young educators become burned out quickly. They come in excited to teach burgeoning young minds, and with all the obstacles they're facing, it's hard to keep that enthusiasm up for very long. So how you want to talk to them, it's going to be basically your teaching style is how you're going to speak to your audience. You're going to speak honestly and frankly. You're pretty no-nonsense about the way you teach your classes. So that's the way you want to be with your audience. You want to teach them the way that you teach your classes. Enthusiasm, you want to get them excited about teaching again. It gets real dry real fast unless you've got somebody there excited, ready to do it. And then a bit of quirkiness. Your classes are a little quirky. Keeps your class interested. And it's the same way when you teach class, same when you teach teachers. It's going to be the same thing. One other thing we needed to address was your promotional mix, how you're going to break up your promotional efforts. So your main focus is going to be conventions. That's where you're going to spend a lot of your time making your contacts. So it's going to be about 40% of your effort. This isn't necessarily a monetary breakdown. It's just about where the focus needs to be spread out. So 40% should be spent on conventions. About 25% on direct mail, mailing educators, mailing principals, deans, getting some hard copy evidence of what you're doing into their hands in their mailbox is going to benefit you in the long run. Another 25% should be spent on email and social media. The same thing. It's the same purpose. It's just meeting a slightly different demographic of that target audience. And then traditional media, as important as it is, it's expensive and it's declining quickly. So, you know, spending a lot of effort trying to get a print ad, multiple print ads, isn't going to be as beneficial to you as spending that time and money getting into conventions. So about 10% should be of your effort should be spent on traditional media. So the design pieces that you had requested are slightly different than the design pieces that we are presenting to you. You had requested a brochure, an identity package that includes your business cards, your letterhead, things like that. We're suggesting you upgrade your website, update it. It needs a drastic overhaul as opposed to the poster. I think we've decided the website is a little more important currently than the poster. The poster is going to give you a lot of the same information that the brochure is going to give you, but in today's market, the first thing somebody does when they hear about a new product or a new service or whatever, they Google it. They want to go find out what it is, you know, without getting too involved with the product yet. They just want a surface idea of what the product is or the service. So getting your website updated, it needs a drastic overhaul. It needs some hardcore information in there about what you do and your educational services, and then your print ad as well.
Starting off with the brochure, with your business background, it's Business 101 that the two most basic things for interpersonal business relationships is brochure, business card, because it's this action. How are you, sir? How are you? My name's Paul Lambert. This is what we do. Please take a look at it, and if you've got any questions, I'd be glad to help you with this. That's how it starts. You just walk up and start talking. So what the brochure needs to do is give that positive first impression. It's got to get, when a person looks at it, that thinks, oh, that's interesting. I should read this. Pop it open. It should have a quick look at what you do, your services, what you can supply to someone. You don't need to give them the entire thing, but just a quick overview. Need your background information. Distilling your background is difficult. I tried. Wharton School, UNC Chapel Hill, a lot of people in education, PhDs are cheap, but your experience that you have along with your educational experience makes you different. And it should also be an invitation to the client. Talk to me some more. I can help you. Just give me a chance. Now for the brochure, what you're looking at for the brochure, design costs will be the big thing. And like in construction, the devil's in the details. The more stuff you want, the more it's going to cost. You have special photography, special print, special paper, things like that. So you pare it down to your gotta haves, your like to haves, and you don't needs. And then put it into a nice little package and put it together and have it out. Once it's designed, reproduction costs, you can get $1 a piece or less because you'll have the master. You can go to Kinko's, have it all ready for you the next morning. The design that we're suggesting is the typical 8.5 by 11 trifold, because it's easy. You can hand it out. You can stick it in an envelope and mail it. If you design it correctly, you can just put a little tag on here and mail it that way. So if you've got a mailing list that you can bulk mail with, that works out fine and saves you a lot of money. In your message on your inside your brochure, you need to define what the naked classroom is. Because I've got to tell you, when I first saw it, things popped around in my mind. Now, my demographic is a lot older, tends to be fairly conservative, but then again, a lot of people that you'll be dealing with in lots of different places in the country that I'm going to say right out front are not necessarily very forward-thinking, will maybe pull back a little bit. So you need to make what the naked classroom is known. So, oh yeah, I know that. And the 7 C's. Your 7 C's, having a quick layout of what the 7 C's are inside your brochure. Just say, oh yeah, that's good, that's good. Oh, I like that. But having their own special 7 C's logo would actually, I think, be a good attention grabber. So people would connect that with the concept. Your short bio and your photo. I got a photo from you, and they didn't put it in here. You seem, kind of looking at it, you seemed like you were kind of annoyed. So, and it's probably not the idea that you want to convey to people who are looking to give you money. So having a nicely done professional photo, I think it would pay off in dividends. And your contact information is an absolute must. You know, the way to get you online, find you on the web, anywhere, Facebook, things like that on there. Just have it on there so it's easy for them to find.
You really can't see that, so well, can you just, yeah, thank you so much. This is you, and that's them. And that's the message that we want to convey, is that you are not them. This program is not the same thing. It's not warmed over soup. Classrooms can be very intimidating for students as well as for educators. This is something that says immediately, I don't know what that is exactly, but I'd like to find out what it's about. And that's what the identity package has to be. Identity package has to say these things. It has to let someone know your value, what your vision is, what type of personality, what attributes, what benefits, and where you are in the marketplace at this time and where you're going. What is your vision for going there? If you have a good logo and you have good placement and you have frequency, because all of those have to go together. You can have a good logo and you can have good placement of that logo and the layout, but if you don't have a lot of information going out, then people won't know who you are, where you are, and how to contact you. So, unfortunately, in order to make money, we have to spend a little money, but printing costs for business cards have become incredibly small, smaller than they were in the past. I'm suggesting that you consider the double-sided card, because not only will it be able to express your logo and your contact information, but on the flip side, your 7 C's can have their own platform. So that means that whoever picks up the card, once they're intrigued with the colors of the logo, can flip it over to the other side and really become acquainted with the 7 C's. Letterhead, how much? Letterhead, we gave you 3 different prices. In printing, as you probably already know, and that's quantity dictates a lower price. So we know that these are 4 colors. We know that you're probably looking at a minimum of 500. 5,000 would be your better bet. I don't know how much communication you'll actually be doing by letterhead, but I do know that if whatever you send out, it has to be consistent, because you're establishing your brand. You want every time someone sees your logo to go, that's Kevin Raybon, that's 7Cs, that's the naked classroom. And it's just so subliminal, but it happens frequently. The envelopes to support that, I've taken the opportunity to leave something with you that will give you an idea, in fact, I'm going to give it to you now, of what could possibly happen.
If I can jump in real quick, the logo that we created, you can, if you're a fan of that logo, that's something you can actually build yourself. The apple that's on there was from Shutterstock, so you can purchase that photo to use for your logo, and then you'll have to get the rights to the fonts and everything, but that's a totally doable logo that you can build very cheaply on your own.
A lot of thought process went into that logo after I received it, because initially I looked at the apple and I thought, but then when I saw the nudity part of it and how that message could be conveyed to a parent who has a K-12 child and also be acceptable to a college student where it would be too childish, and the colors that go along with that, it began to grow on me. It became very comfortable. It was very easy. It lightened up this whole process, because when you start talking about education, you're getting into a heavier mode. So this kind of eases it back a little bit so the information is more palatable.
All right, we've suggested altogether a website for these reasons. All right, it's big right now, the technology, with everybody having an iPad, a tablet, or anything else. They can easily, if you had a good website going, they can easily look like, say, if they get one of your little cards, your little business cards, they can look online and find out more information, because of course you can't fit that much information on a little business card. So they can find out more about you if they can't get to you in person or whatever else. They can go on this website and see what you're about, see what you do, and whatever else. And it's any big business out there, any successful business out there has got a good run website where it's updated daily, or not daily, but it's updated often, where they can see, where other people can see what's going on and what you're doing and whatever else. And it's good for like potential clients who want to see more about you but they can't talk to you in person, or if they don't have a lot of information about you in person, like say they heard about you from somebody else, they heard word of mouth, and then they go look and see, hey, this is what this person is about. All right, this was I pulled up an example of like a website template, and usually websites cost from $3,500 to $12,000 up. Now it's cheaper now than it was beforehand. I mean, that's still kind of pricey, but it also depends on what you need done. Like say if you already got a banner done, if you already got your logo, if you already got what information you need to go on your website, then it's cheaper than if designers have to start from scratch and come up with everything by hand, by themselves. It's going to cost them more because they're going to charge more for what they have to come up with, instead of saying they can just put it on the website. They can just take what you have and put it on the website, but like that. Now I suggested a few different sections. A bio section where you can have information about yourself, a little bit about what your company is about, what you're trying to do, what you're doing now, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to get to as a consultant business. A contact us section where they can get a hold of you by email, or if they want to find you on Facebook, Twitter, or if they want to contact you by phone, if they want to find out more information, pricing, that sort of thing, or if they want to schedule a meeting with you. A video section if you want to keep those videos up, or if you want to do videos like say samples of what you do in the classroom and whatever else. A services section, like if you want to put if you've got a pricing range of how you're doing on one-on-one consulting, or if you're doing case analysis, what you're all offering all together. A press section if you're mentioning any magazines, maybe other web articles, video features, you would want to put that up there. It's extra promotion for you. And then I put the drop down menu, like say if you want to do a press section and then you want to put it in order, like magazines, video features, like maybe you're mentioning a video, or if you want to do other web articles, you can easily sort them in one little area.
Okay. So, we had talked about a print ad being one of the pieces you requested, and specifically in NEA Today. Funny story, when I was contacting them for pricing information, they actually thought I was part of CSN trying to place an ad for CSN in NEA Today. So I kind of misled, I guess, or I sounded too professional. I don't really know what happened, but the lady, once I told her, no, I'm a student doing a project, she promptly didn't want to talk to me anymore. So my pricing, I think, is a little bit general for you at the end here. But so NEA Today is where I'm recommending you place your ad if you're going to do a print ad. It speaks directly to your target audience, and it'll get passed around. Like a principal's going to subscribe to this magazine. He's going to bring it in and leave it in his staff lounge. And it'll get passed around, the articles will get passed around. You know, it'll hang out in the school for a while, different people are going to see it. So it's good exposure. So the print ad that we're talking about, we're going to do a full page, full color ad. And the thought process behind it, before seeing the ad, your target audience thinks, oh, not another teacher development day, not another, training course. I don't want to hear the same thing over and over again. And for me, please. So this is what we're talking about, and it's kind of harkening back. This is just a mock-up, of course, harkening back to the olden days of the dream classroom, right? So a very 1950s feel. Students with apples on their desks. We've got a teacher, full skirt, red lipstick. It's a pristine classroom setting, the ideal classroom that you think there's not an issue here. You don't deal with the modern technology. You don't deal with, abuse in the home, things like, well, 50s, that did happen. However, that wasn't an issue in the classroom. So without all the modern issues. Oh,
Sorry. Just back up.
go back.
Where's it?
So, no.
There you go.
So the copy reads, too good to be true. Yep, because that's your voice. You're honest about it. Yeah, that is too good to be true. That's not going to happen these days anymore. Down here it says, real classrooms aren't perfect, but the naked classroom can help you come close. Because that's what you do. You help them get through the modern issues in a modern classroom. And then we've got our tagline again, exposing the student-teacher connection. And we've got your website down here. So what we want to happen after the audience views this ad, we want them to say, oh, that's an interesting concept. I wonder what this guy's about. And then go check out the website. So our projected budget for this whole project, now like I said, traditional media tends to be more expensive. The production cost of this itself is not the expensive part, it's actually the ad space. So the ad space down here, as you will see, is going to be about 20 grand for a quarterly magazine, full spread, or full page, full color for a quarter run. And the photography is going to be about $1,000. You've got a principal, your teacher. Principal is in the principal model. About $200. Your extras, about $50 a piece. Those are going to be either school-age children, teenagers, wherever, somewhere in there. Makeup and hair around $900. Wardrobe, stylist, location, and the designer. That's your cheap one. For some reason, they get shortchanged in the end. The designers seem to make chicken scrap from what I've read. But this is actually a pretty accurate, from personal experience, pretty accurate to what you're going to pay to produce this print ad. All right, do you have questions?
I like that. Just one question. So everything's really good, fantastic, 10 out of 10. In terms of the business card piece, Some people like to write on the back of business card. Why would you say you want to have a two-sided business card?
Because it gives you an opportunity, again, for the 7 Cs to have its own platform. So it keeps saying 7 Cs, 7 Cs. I don't know whether I'm sailing. I don't know what that means. But if I have an opportunity to have it in my hand, and if I have flipped that card over, I might be interested enough to read it. It's there. It's in my hand. But then I might want to share it. I might want to go to that website on the front side of the card and find out more about the 7 Cs and more about you. I wanted to add something. I didn't get an opportunity to share this with the group. I spoke with Lisa just for a brief moment. When you're going to make speeches and presentations and introductions to your consulting business, I would like for you to consider having a commitment card. Because the world has changed. The question is to the person, have you? So with these 7 Cs, would you commit, after you've received this information, would you commit to bringing this into your classroom? Would you commit